chair, right?
Yeah, this be good for my blood pressure.
All right, thank you. Shall we rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. We have minutes of our Selectmen's meeting held on November 20th.
I'll move.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just 1 second, I'm not ready here. There you go. Sunny. And then we have minutes of a non-public meeting that was held on November 20th. Could I have a motion to accept those?
So moved. And I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Whoop, sorry about that. There you go. And then we are going to move into a public hearing in accordance with RSA 31:95-B to accept unanticipated revenue from the sale of municipal property in the amount of $25,650. $9,367.39 will be earmarked and restricted to fix unexpected repairs to ambulance 2 for the fire department. I will open for public comment. No public comment. So I will close this public hearing and we will vote.
Do you have a motion for
thank you.
on in your
And the
packet?
next one,
Want me to read the motion?
go for it.
Okay. Motion to accept the funds received on the sale of the 2001 Mack Pierce tanker in the amount of $25,650 from JSI auction and to designate $9,367.39 to the fire department vehicle maintenance line to affect the unexpected repair costs of the 2020 Cummins with $16,282.61 going to the general fund revenue.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we get seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, that passes. New business. 2025 budget update changes.
In front of you, I have 2 budget changes. I received, if you recall, I had put a placeholder in the replacement cost for the sewer fund. We did get a final number from DES on what they anticipate our replacement cost will be, so that line, after the adjustment is $783,081. And then I also have had discussions with the fire chief, we're gonna have to make an adjustment to their line. She would like to reduce her call line from 30,000 to 15,000. She would like to increase her service contracts from 120 to 122, and this is based on actuals that she received from the vendors. And there was also 2 increases to the education stipend for 2 employees that were not recognized before. So with that plus and minuses, that is actually a decrease to the fire department budget of $11,294. So the adjustments you would be accepting would be the after adjustments column.
Do you need a motion for that? No, that's just adjustment.
Well, is this what was done by the budget committee, or is this
No,
just us changing ours?
These are ours, our changes are on our end. I didn't push these forward to them last night because I didn't wanna have them vote, then you re-vote, so
just need a motion. I'll make the motion to accept those two.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Contingency fund discussions.
In the packet, I have provided you with, the RSA on the contingency fund. I know we've kind of discussed, maybe putting that forward on the warrant article. We are allowed per the RSA to, the fund shall not exceed 1% of the amount appropriated by the town minus your debt and minus your capital reserves. And it also depends on how you wanna fund that contingency fund. So you can either fund it through taxation, or you could fund it through, your unexpended, fund balance. I did put an example below the RSA of what that would look like. You would just have to determine how much you may want to fund that. The hook with the contingency fund is it doesn't carry year to year, so if you don't use it, it just goes back to your fund balance at the end of the year.
So this means this would have to be on the ballot every year?
If you wanted to fund it, yes, yeah. So you know.
One more
could
thing.
Start off with 20,000 or 50,000, and it's really at your discretion if whatever comes up throughout that year that you didn't plan for, you can use it as your discretion. It's kind of more loose as far as what you can use it for. It's just a emergency fund essentially. You know, and the next year you could put more money or less money or not fund it at all.
So, and I'll throw this, so if we fund it, let's just say we decide we wanna put $50,000 into it. We don't use it, okay, for the year.
Yep.
Then it goes back to the general fund.
Yep.
And then we can ask for the 50,000 again the following year, but then it goes back if it's not used.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
okay.
And if you felt maybe one year 50 was too much and you're not using it, then you could back
Oh.
down. It's really up to your discretion.
What makes this different though than any other fund that doesn't go back into the general fund? Like for the example, like the trustees fund, I mean the cemetery fund, how it stays in there. Why does that one have to get back in
That's
general
just-
fund?
I don't know, that's the DRA state statute question as to why they.
It makes no
Why it
sense.
says it has to.
Cause the whole point of that would be to have a account there. Other than that, we might as well just have a line item if it has to go back every year. And not have to ask for it as a separate warrant article.
Right, why can't we, here we go again. Why can't we add a line, or maybe there already is a line item that we increase by a certain amount, but then we're restricted to what we can use it to? Where this one is kind of open, this could be,
This would be open. You'd have to vote, and you may be forced into a town vote if you put it as a line item. Where
Right.
If the term contingency is exactly what it means.
right.
So if you put it
So
in there,
if-
then
so
you,
if something,
it's our
you know,
discretion.
Right, if the furnace blows up, well, that would be an insurance thing, but if something happened that we needed funds for,
Yep.
for whatever reason, I can't think of one right off the bat, that isn't insurance related or whatever.
And the RSA just says unanticipated expenses that may arise during the year.
Well, it's a good
Function
example is
money.
the ambulance, all right? I mean, if we hadn't sold anything and now she's going way over her, repair line, then we would be able to draw from this to offset that, so that, okay, got it.
So you would, you know, in 25, if you wish to, and we don't have to decide today, I just wanted to give you,
Yep.
what I also want to do is just be sure how much we have in the contingency fund to recommend to you what you could fund it through that.
Right, we don't know what that figure even is at this point.
Right, or if you just wanna fund it through taxation, that's, you know,
Okay.
completely up to you. And then the other thing, the caveat to this that we don't, do in the annual report is I have to, on your behalf, put in how you use the funds in the annual report.
Oh, of course, which makes
So,
sense,
yeah.
right. I mean, otherwise we'll get accused of, I don't know, doing something we shouldn't be.
How do you see that it's, the fund can't lapse?
Through discussion with DRA.
Okay, cause I was like, the RSA doesn't clearly state that. I'll talk to a few people, see if we can get it changed at some point.
So I can bring this up again, next meeting, if you want to still have time to think about it, and then how you wanna fund it, if that's something you wanna move forward with this year, and I also just wanna get confirmation of how much, cause we're already putting 400 from the, fund balance towards funding other warrant articles, so I just need to make sure we even have the extra
extra
to
to do that, all right. I mean, I'm not opposed to this, it's just kind of a, you know, a fallback again, you know, using, you know, the unexpected repairs or whatever, but it's just what that figure is, or can be, and then try to figure out if it's, yeah. All right, I mean, are you guys all fine with bringing it back the next meeting? And
Yeah, I wanna
Yes.
talk to
when we
couple
have a
people
little bit more,
anyways.
and you wanna do a little bit? Yeah, all right, okay, that's a good one. Oh, we have some, accept opioid abatement funds.
Yep, we've received another check, we've been receiving checks from this, litigation from the state for some time now, so I do have a motion for you to, accept those.
Which is pretty typical.
Yes.
This is, these are the funds that are, well, if we had a police officer that wanted to do a dog, that's kind of where those monies would be used for?
So we can use these funds to fight the opioid pandemic, epidemic, whatever, I know I'm saying that wrong.
Okay.
The battle with drugs.
All right,
for
that's what I
opioids.
thought.
So
There's
fire
restrictions.
could use it to replenish their Narcan, so can't police. We've used it for training, we've bought in the TrueNarc scanner, so that they can test the drugs in the field without exposing themselves and ODing themselves in
That's
the
right.
field, which I hope they've used it, or, you know, it's been a great purchase.
Yep.
We can use it for a number of things per the RSA, so.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept in accordance with RSA 3195B, the opioid litigation settlement fund distribution in the amount of $9,677.80. Funds to be used in accordance with RSA 126-A:86. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Bogey Busters Trail Use Authorization. We need that every year.
Yes, they've, come forward, they've been, doing the trail permissions, they have the option to do an infinite agreement, a 1 year and a 5 year. Last year, you guys had asked that they do a 1 year agreement, so I do have that here for Ruth to sign. Just a standard agreement for permission for them to, provide snowmobile access on our properties. They have provided their insurance, and we have, a copy of all the.
Why did we agree to 1 year last year, do we know?
Yeah, because the amount of the trails are closing up.
Oh, yeah, all right, all right.
If you want to move it to 5 years or
No.
indefinite.
No,
No,
what happens is the development of a lot of the lands that the trails go through are being sold. And they're gonna have to retrail or remap these trails. So, I think a 1 year agreement is what we should say on that every year.
It's not a big deal because they have to do the insurance policy once a year
Yeah.
anyway, so I think I would feel more comfortable with the 1 year too. If we even get any snow, I mean, I don't even
Coming,
think.
don't worry,
Huh?
it's coming,
Oh, is it? You think we're gonna get?
we're getting some tonight.
Okay. Do we need, okay, does someone want to give that motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the 1 year snowmobile trail use authorization for Belmont Bogey Busters with a term to expire December 4th, 2025.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposition? Hearing none, I'll sign that one, it's, all right. Trustees of the trust fund, alternate request.
Yes, I had, in your packet, you have an email from, Tom Garfield, one of the trustees of trust funds, as well as a copy of the RSA 3122. They are requesting permission for, to appoint 2 alternates to the trustees of the trust funds. They do have some long-term trustees who are probably looking to step away in the future, so their plan to add the alternates is, succession planning, interviews.
Training.
Training, you know, if they are the overseer of our capital reserve, so it's kind of a specialized niche, so they would, like permission to appoint alternates. Up to 2 is per the RSA.
Any opposition to that? No. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to approve per RSA 31:22, 2 alternate members to serve as trustees of the trust funds to serve in 1 year terms.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Passes. What do we have for other new business?
I handed out you guys a letter, that looks like it's coming from the town. It was brought to our attention, earlier this week on Monday, that the owner of Bouchard Holdings for map 101-008, it's been brought to our attention that they have performed work on our property located at 80 Old State Road, without an approved driveway permit. I also have Craig and Karen here if, they would like to speak to this, but we would like to, send this letter to them, asking that they remove the portion of the pavement that extends into the road right away for Old State Road within 10 days of this notice. And that portion to be removed has been marked with red paint, by DPW, and that they apply for the after the fact driveway permit for the remaining portion of the driveway. This is continuing to be an ongoing issue with this property owner.
Thinking he owns everything. And what happens if he does damage when he's removing this material that he's put over our existing road?
Ultimately, by the RSA, he's liable,
I can't hear.
financially liable for the repair.
For any damage?
Yeah, they're 236, 13, and 14.
Okay.
Could state that, and the letter that you have in front of you, when I called out the reference points, I wanted to specifically call out those two RSAs. And I do have a photo if you wanted to see what they had done. I printed a couple of photos.
Yeah, can I see it real quick? I just wanna see it.
And under the RSA, you are the,
Designated authority for enforcement.
of this issue.
For the, so you're looking, you're coming around the corner,
Oh,
this piece
wow.
here sticks into the curve.
Yeah.
And I guess my other question is if he's got 10 days to do this, if he doesn't do this, what happens?
I mean, if he reaches out to us in 10 days and said on day 11 I'll come out, he's been good about that,
Okay.
but it is a misdemeanor by 236-14.
Oh, it's
a
not even,
misdemeanor.
it's the other property. I thought it was his,
Oh, no,
I thought it was his house property.
No,
it's the
no.
old
Oh,
state
he
road.
just bought this.
And my other, I saw those
Okay.
pictures, and my other question is,
That's so you can make the road out.
we're getting a
So you can
snowstorm
build houses
tonight,
out there.
and we've gotta plow that, and when the plow hits that lip and does damage to our equipment, who's responsible for that?
By our regulations, he would be.
Okay,
If Craig goes fast enough, he can take the cement with him.
And the biggest takeaway is, he didn't apply for the permit, he did not consult with DPW on the pavement practices, the quality of the work does not meet our town standards, and we feel it's a safety issue, and for equipment and personnel, and he should have had a conversation with DPW, before he just did what he wanted.
Yep. Not a problem. I don't have a problem with this. Do we have to sign something?
I do have a letter here for you guys to sign, that I'll send around.
All right. Awesome. Okay.
I mean, it's unfortunate because this is the gentleman that you would like me to work with to, get the beach, Leslie Roberts Drive done and stuff like that, so I just, I'm not real confident that's gonna happen, so. Some people just have no respect for authority.
Those cameras keep going
No respect for the process,
Well, in this case, it's no respect for the town, period.
period.
Well, it's, what a mess.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of it, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It gets horrible.
If he'd have done a really nice job, it might,
It doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't. Okay. What do we have for other new business?
No other new business.
Okay.
Then we have some things under old business.
Okay, 2024 default budget update.
So last week I ran the numbers on, as of 11/26, we were at 84% of 92. Last night I redid the numbers, so as of 12/23, we were at 87% of 100. We did do a very large, payments to staff and as far as obligations from the union contract, so that is why you see so much of from the 84 to the 87. Steve is going to be doing some final, last minute bigger, like, our health insurance payments and retirement. So I'm gonna be coming to you with, and your next meeting with kind of where I feel we're good with at the default, and if any departments, if at all possible, can make any last minute purchases, and where we are with the spending, before we close out the year with the default budget. But I think we're in a good place. I don't have any concern that we're gonna go over the bottom line.
Okay.
Each individual departments, yes, ultimately you could do line item transfers so that they weren't, I don't recommend that you do that, as long as you just keep the bottom line.
Bottom line
above,
under, yeah,
then that's fine.
yeah, yeah. How it shakes out in between isn't as crucial as the bottom line. Got it, all right. Other old business?
I have no other old business. I do think Patrick wants to update you on the Penstock Park.
Is that the tree?
On the trees, there's 6 trees. I'm gonna come forward and say I made a mistake. When I priced out this, project for the 6 trees, when I talked to Jacob Caldwell to cut the trees, I was under the understanding that the trees were gonna be cut and placed on the upper side of the fence, so we could get at it with the DPW crew and everything. That's not the case. I didn't pick that up on his contract, on his quote. I did go back to him once it was realized. Out of the 6 trees, he's agreed to do 4 of those and do it that way. We have 2 trees that are down in the gully, close, you can't see them. He recommends that we just cut those and lay them flat on the ground and leave them there. They'll never see
Mother
'em.
Nature will take
Yeah,
care of
Mother
it.
Nature. But I wanted to let you folks know exactly what we're doing there.
Are the ones down below, like,
There are tons of trees down that have fallen
Yeah.
in that whole area.
Area.
It's not a clean area. And once we get the spring growth, you'll
Never
never
see
see
it
those 2
again.
trees.
I don't have a problem with that.
No,
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anyone here for, no other old business? And we have anyone public comment? Okay, hearing none, our next meeting is scheduled for December 18th at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we have a non-public,
Yes.
correct? 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, letter A. Thank you, everyone.
Travis O'Hara.
Thank you.
John Pike.
Ruth Mooney?
Sonny Patton?
Sharon Champy?